Hey, hey. All right. So, welcome back, Leos. All right, Leos, this is going to be a storytelling for Lionsgate. Now, the Lionsgate portal, the 8-8 portal, this is kind of an alignment between Orion, Earth, and Sirius, the dog star. But the the part that I really like about this is that in the ancient Egyptian culture, when Sirius the dog star was visible again to them at this time, they typically associated it with a time that the Nile River would flood, and that was considered a time of great fertility. So this is kind of like a threshold, a portal, a time to walk into more success, perhaps. Now, a lot of people look at this as a time to manifest, perhaps. Even here, though, we have these pillars that represent like a threshold. So this particular, I did a pre-shuffle here because I wanted to do a tip of the hat to the Egyptian aspect of this storytelling. And so I did a pre-shuffle because I have to read up on some of these characters first. This is the Queen of Wands, but it is in the reverse. So the message first for Leo during this, kind of like this threshold moment is represented by a very famous figure in history. This is Sobek Neferu. And so she was actually the sister of the reigning pharaoh. And when her brother passed on, she became, actually, she was historically the first female pharaoh that they knew of, which is ironic because I just did the Libra storytelling, and Libra ended up with the second historically confirmed female pharaoh. So just an interesting thing, but this one happens to have turned out in the reverse. So her reign was actually quite short. And it meant the lady of Sobek, and so Sobek Neferu is her name. Forgive me if I botched the pronunciation on that, but to the best of my tongue's ability, that's how I would pronounce it. So when her brother passed on and she ended up stepping into the role of pharaoh, she actually dressed quite a bit like her male counterparts of that era. Her reign only lasted that 4 years, but in that time, she still made some great accomplishments, including like the funerary structure for her brother. But she was the last pharaoh of the golden era, and this card, being that it is in the reverse, by the way, the cat Bastet, which represents the Egyptian goddess Bastet, is here at her feet, and that the Bastet presided over things like music and the arts and such. But this card is in the reverse, which says Leo is crossing a threshold where they are perhaps, I'll say, being very mindful of negative attributes, perhaps even of their own nature. What I feel like is this is a character who, because this can be representing a character that has like a tendency toward arrogance and pettiness and selfishness and all those kinds of less than beautiful traits. Essentially, this is a Queen of Wands in the reverse, and that is a karmic energy. And if that kind of energy has ever passed through Leo's heart, which, come on, we all have our things once in a while that we find ourselves getting, self-focused and selfish and all these things, and having pity parties and stuff. To Leo's credit, if this is them walking through this gateway to say, you know what, I so don't want to have those feelings flare in my heart or in my head, because you know what it does is it blocks my creativity, it blocks my talents. That's so not who I want to be. I feel as if maybe even the fact that Sobek Neferu had just a 4-year reign, maybe that represents, maybe our Leo had a little bit of time. I'm not saying 4 years, maybe they had 4 hours where they were just pitching a fit. And I think every character is allowed to pitch a fit here and there. But to their credit, they're also saying, as I pass through this gateway, you know what I'd like to do? I'd like to squash any of my lesser beautiful traits that come to the surface now and again. Again, we're going to go along with a message that kind of comes out of another Egyptian deck. And we have tranquility. The real spiritual progress of the aspirant is measured by the extent to which he achieves inner tranquility. That's a great message for what we've seen so far. And we have gratitude. Anybody can thank God for good things. But when you can thank God, even in the bad things, your faith grows and your spiritual roots go deeper. This really feels like a Leo who is a very, what I would say is they're a very big person inside. Anyone who can take sight of any of their own shortcomings and say, you know what, I don't want to do, I don't want to kick and scream and make a fuss. I really want to be at peace with myself. And even the crappy stuff that I've gone through, I'm not going to let it make me bitter. That is such a beautiful promise to make to oneself. What is the energy um, as we kind of like, I wanted to say the celestial energy that might be surrounding our Leo right now. We have the wood element, which has to do with instinct and again, temperance. The result of layers upon layers of organic growth. Strong wood is a sign of healthy land, plentiful with water, solid, humid air, and light. Wood signs are therefore sensitive, intuitive, attentive, and supportive of others at their best. We may be describing a specific Leo who is, associated with the wood element. This could describe them very nicely, and this is the version of themselves that they want to continue to grow into. This is how they see themselves, someone who can grow. I think this Leo might be judging themselves pretty harsh. We all have our worst day, and if we only think of ourselves as who we were on our worst day, of course we suck. But I love the fact that this is a very brave Leo who is able to say, I don't want to be petty. I really admire people that, just kind of take stuff in stride and, don't. It almost feels like basically a character who's really grown up. This is a very powerful individual who doesn't want to, toot their horn nor play their violin. This is a character who's just really, this would be a great leader. Frankly, this Leo would be freaking amazing as a leader because they are so not focused on themselves. They are so over it when it comes to, their self-importance. This Leo does not have a bloated sense of self-importance at all. Why? Because they've said, the thing I don't like is if I start to trend that way. I'm not going to do that. I love this character. I love their personal sense of power. We have the World card. This could be a character who has a very strong message to share with the world. Capricorn energy here. I feel like this Leo is at the precipice as they walk through this 8-8 portal. I think their time to be seen by the world, and maybe, well, in this case, they could become a famous musician. They could, musicians are storytellers, right? That's what the lyrics are in their songs. Maybe this Leo is going to really rise and be more visible to the public because of their music or because of the way they conduct themselves. Gosh, we got a Queen of Wands upright. Look at this. So we start out with they're leaving behind, I'll say, their lesser attributes, and they are fully stepping into and claiming their greatest attributes. But it's the same card. It's the same Queen. Very nice energy on this. This is Leo basically doing a personality overhaul. And if you look closely, we have even got the sign of Leo up above. I'm sorry, I know that's really hard to see. I'm trying to get the camera to focus. Sorry about my blackberry stained fingernails. This is a time where Leo is actually going to find themselves shining so brightly. They're going to actually really be pleased with their softer side. I feel like if Leo was mad about something, if they got the short end of the stick and for a little bit they saw their own like raging, angry side, Leo has said, I don't ever want to be that raging, angry person again. I don't like it. I want to be tranquil. It doesn't suit me, and it's not the way I want to conduct myself. I'm warm. Fire, it's appropriate that actually we have wood here too, because obviously, we got to feed the fire some wood and some oxygen, right? I feel like for Leo to be a fiery energy is so, obviously it's appropriate, but fire is warm, but it can also burn. This is the example of, you know what, I burned. I feel like Leo was big mad at one point in time. That's what they're leaving behind. And they're coming into the most beautiful, the most genuinely powerful, and genuinely admirable time of their life. And I think this is the perfect time because they may start to get quite a social media presence, or they may become very visible in their community. And look, this Leo is still going to be a very formidable opponent, but we got a Queen of Cups, but they are also a very loving, nurturing. They're nobody's pushover. They have a strong backbone, but they are in the softest energy they've ever been in. Whether this Leo is masculine or feminine is irrelevant, but they are a very they temper themselves, right? When their fire gets a little bit hot, they think about things from a more emotional context and, pour a little water on things and cool things down. Alternatively, we could also say, when it comes to matters of the heart and passion, I think that this Leo is going to be so steamy, so sensual. I feel like this Leo probably is going to they're going to turn people on, whomever they want to attract. I feel like Leo is going to turn people on very, very easily. They could be attracting men and women. We have lions, male lions, then we have bald eagles here. I have to say, the way Leo is going to be soft with partners, loving with partners, but still powerful. It's kind of the way, if you pet a cute little kitten and they purr so soft, versus if you see a full blown tiger that is roaring, that's the combo of what Leo is. Can they be a big, dangerous, ferocious? Sure. But can they also be the softest, sweetest little fluff ball? Yep, that too. And I think Leo is really, their power is coming now from their softer side. They know this. And because we see a double dose of queen energy after this this 8-8 portal, I think that Leo is going to have words of encouragement could roll off their tongue really easily with people that they care about. Maybe if Leo once upon a time had harsh words, or they were a little bit cynical, or they were a little bit caustic, that side of them has just been kind of squashed as they walk through this 8-8 portal. They're aware of it, and they're aware of what a momentous time this is for them. I kind of think that this is just what the world needs. Kind, strong, sweet power. The kind of nobody's fool, but with a message that can be delivered in a voice that is velvet, and a very empowered leadership role. I think that this could be the most influential time of this Leo's life. I think they will influence a lover, a romantic partner. I think they will have more than one person who would like to be romantic with them. But I think Leo knows that this is their greatest, sexiest, powerhouse time of their life, because they just they figured it out. They figured out, what is my greatest strength? It is my warmth. It's not my blazing, raging fire, because that scares people sometimes. My greatest power is my warmth, because everybody likes the warmth. Everybody likes the encouragement, the softness. But there's also always going to be this little underline of, I'm warm, but I could burn you. I can be defensive, so don't come at me the wrong way. I don't need to be warning people, though, because they can see it on me anyway. I am strong. I am queen energy. I am someone with a voice, but I don't have to scream. I don't have to be crude. I don't have to, insist or demand. I don't have to tell the woes of my life story. That's not where my power comes from, or my attractiveness. My power and my attractiveness comes from my soft but strong voice. It comes from me being self-possessed. It's a very different Leo that is kind of the world is going to meet a different version of Leo. And Leo is very consciously aware of this, that something is different inside of them. I think that this Leo has a tremendous sense of inner peace right now. 7 of Cups. what Leo does with this energy, I'm not going to say that Leo could be manipulative. I don't mean it that way, but I think Leo is going to be, this sounds so wrong to say it this way, but the way any of the like stories of vampires, the vampires are always very attractive and very alluring and very powerful. I feel like there's that level of attractive quality, and it's like the Leo could probably utilize their their velvet strength in many different ways. How they will apply it will be with integrity for sure. But the Leo has something big to do in this lifetime. And it could be that they have a message to convey. It could be that they have something important. It could be that they're supposed to become a leader. Whatever this is, gosh, we have the death card sideways and we have the wheel of fortune. This is Leo's time. This is such a strong message, especially for it being, of course, Leo season. So we got Leo birthdays all over the place right now. Gosh, this is beautiful. That's the reason they call it the Lion's Gate also, is because all of this alignment happens during Leo season. With that Scorpio energy here of the death card being sideways, I think Leo is going to naturally attract many things in their life, and the things that were supposedly dead and gone that have transformed and are returning differently. This could be exes, this could be old friends. This could also be that Leo encourages and inspires others to make changes, to revive things. If this is about Leo becoming like a trendsetter or something, they could make certain things hip to do all over again. This Leo is pretty timeless. The way they impact others, the way they're going to impact the world, it is their time to have tremendous success. And I think they should not underestimate how important it is that they rise right now to the challenge, that they speak, with this soft, calm, balanced strength. I keep feeling like this is a Leo who's going to be very strong. They could have a very strong leadership role, or, role in the working world. They are somebody who can make change. People are going to want to hear what they have to say, and people are going to want to follow what this Leo has to say. It's very beautiful, but I think in the realm of romance in particular, Leo will likely be attracting a multitude of individuals, but I think it's because they're a really great partner. They are really able to be a loving and fantastic partner, and I think that is going to win them the loyalty and the heart of lovers that want to they feel safe, they feel secure, and they feel like they are beside somebody who is incredibly powerful. So really strong relationships right now. All right, I'm going to leave that there. That was a terrific message for our Leos. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing.